What's up? What's up? This is a beat that I made about a year ago. I'm just updating my Instagram right now. Give me a second. What is up? What is up? What is going on? So this is what we're doing today. Yeah, this was definitely the smoothest I've ever started a live. It's getting better and better every time. So I think by the time I combine this this live channel with my tutorial channel, which I do plan on testing out, I'm pretty sure that's probably what I'm going to end up doing permanently, I'm guessing. But I kind of want to just keep going with this until I really get my whole live setup down and get my workflow more consistent, I guess. And then by the time I do add these lives to my tutorial channel, I'll be a lot better at this. So, but yeah, someone was asking me about beat battles, and I kind of want to go over that because that's one of the main things that I want to do on this live channel. So just to give you guys an idea about what the beat battles will be like, I plan on doing beat critiques probably like twice a week. Excuse me. And from those critiques, the people that I kind of highlight, or the people that I think are what's the word that I'm looking for? Through the critiques, I'll pretty much qualify who can enter into the beat battles. And basically, the whole point of the battles is just to give you guys more free stuff. The winners of those battles will get kits, drum kits, loop kits, midis, all kinds of stuff. So that will be the point of the beat battles. And then I plan on having, let me just go through exactly what those are going to look like. Let me see here. Figure out the best way to show you guys this. Switch my account back to my tutorial channel, and then in the comments on a post that I made, I think it was last night, actually kind of went over what the rules and stipulations will be. Let me just pull that up. But by that time, I probably will have those lives on my main channel, just because I really want to get that going pretty quickly. So, and definitely let me know if you guys have any other ideas for doing any live content like battles, or if you have any questions about how those things are going to be ran. Let's see here. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. I said I was considering combining my live channel with this channel. And I'm kind of getting distracted by my Instagram right now because it's kind of blowing up. I shouldn't have posted that right at this moment. Let's see. Yeah, local folks. He asked how would the beat battles go? And my response was there would be 3 elimination rounds. Round 1, everyone makes the same beat, or not the same beat. Everyone makes a beat from the same loop. Round 2, everyone makes a beat using the same drum kit. And then 3, everyone makes a beat from scratch. And me and or the subs would provide the loops, the drums, so on and so forth for each battle. Contestants are invited to compete from top beat critiques. Each contestant will be emailed the packs to work with for 1 week, along with a list of the judging criteria. Beats must be submitted before the stream starts. I plan on having guest judges. That's the most exciting part. Just including other bigger names in the community with my channel to judge and critique your beats. I think that's something that the community needs. Every once in a while, you'll see some of us collab, but it's so few and far in between. I think it needs to happen more often. So if I'm doing a weekly beat battle that, you know, happens 4 times a month, I think that's gonna bring the community together a lot more than what it is now. But anyway, the winners of each week will have the opportunity to compete in a grand finale. So basically, the 4 people that win over that month, they'll have their own battle as well. And that will be a bigger prize. I'm thinking it will be like a year's supply worth of anyone that wins that. I'll basically have like 10 to 12 winners throughout a year. And those winners will have access to every single thing that I release 100% free. And then anyone that is invited to compete will get 50% off all of my products. And hopefully I can convince the guest judges to go in on that as well. But I don't see why they wouldn't, but that's a conversation that has to be had later on down the road. But yeah, speaking of community comments, there was a comment. I posted a new tutorial earlier today, and it was on sidechaining. And I was showing an advanced way to sidechain EQ. And I had a comment about using Fruity Envelope Controller instead. So I tried it out. I thought it was a genius idea. I actually pinned the comment because it's something that I never even thought about doing. But when I tried it out, I actually ran into some issues. So I went ahead and asked him some questions. I couldn't quite figure out exactly what he's doing different, other than I know that he's using Fruity Balance instead of the EQ that I was using. So what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and set that up so that he can see it. He said that he's going to come by and watch the live at some point. He lives over in Europe, so he's not able to watch it right now, but he'll watch it later on down the road. And hopefully, if you're watching this right now, you can comment down below and let me know what I'm doing wrong, because I definitely agree. This would be the better way to do it. This would be the best way to do it, but I'm running into a lot of issues with it. So let me load up the same project that I was using. And we're going to compare and contrast the peak controller technique that I showed in the tutorial to fruity envelope controller. So I already have this set up. I'll go ahead and play this, and you'll see that peak controller is controlling the bottom end of my bass right here. Now, something that was going on in the tutorial, I noticed that my my screen, it's probably because of my computer. I don't actually have a graphics card in this computer. Produced by Simo says on Instagram, I make something like that, but instead of hi-hat, I use a kick. And instead of volume, I use EQ. Yep, yeah, you can do that. And link the controller. I can't read the rest of the comment. Let me see here. He's talking about exactly what we're working on right now, so I thought I would read this comment. And this is on Instagram that he's saying this. I make something like that, but instead of the hi-hat, I use a kick instead of volume, and I use an EQ and link the controller to the first band so it takes out the frequencies below 135 every time the kick plays. Yeah, that definitely works for sure. Because I mean, in the example that I used, I was using a hi-hat just because it's a more defined transient, and you could just get consistency with the track. But you can absolutely make the same thing happen with a kick, because most kicks have a pretty strong transient at the very beginning. But I didn't want to use a kick just in case you're using some, I mean, some kicks have distortion on it. Some kicks have, other layers to it to where you might be working around trying to get the kick to trigger the side chain exactly perfectly the way that I do with the hi-hat. So let me just show you exactly what I have set up here. So on my side chain, this is actually just a hi-hat track, like I was saying. So if you go here, you can't even hear it because it's not routed to anything. You don't want to hear the hi-hat. And this hi-hat pattern is copying the same pattern as my kick. And then inside of Fruity Peak controller, I have this bass knob linked to where this volume knob is set. So what you do, you copy that value, you paste it here, and it makes it so that this is triggered exactly where it originally was sitting. So copying and pasting is really easy to get your settings right. And then you just turn the volume down. If you turn it up, then it'll trigger this to go up instead of down. I'll show you. But that's not what you want. You want your bass to duck down every time the kick hits. So that's the concept behind using peak controller. But let me show you what the other person that I was talking about, I wish I got his name, but he was saying that he uses a Fruity envelope controller. So I'm going to put one of those in. Fruity envelope controller. And I'm going to create another. I'm going to go into my bass track. I'm going to clone this. And you clone it by going into the drop-down menu, save preset as, and then just drag it down onto the track. And I'm going to mute this one. And now we could test back and forth what sounds better. And then you take the volume here, right-click, link to controller, and you just set it to articulator 1 of the Fruity envelope controller. Hit accept. And without touching anything, this is what you end up with. I have to copy and paste my kick pattern just like I would into my sidechain pattern with the hi-hat here. So we're just going to do the same thing here. So this is triggered by MIDI. So every time it gets this MIDI input, it's going to activate the envelope. Okay, so you see that we need to make some changes to these settings. And this is what I was telling him, like it's a lot more complicated than Peak Controller for whatever reason. I can't quite get this dialed in the way that I want it. So just like this bass knob, bass knob here, what I assumed, I would be able to copy this, copy value, paste it here, and that would equal the level here. But let's play it. Okay, another thing that I'm noticing right now, it's doing the opposite of what I want it to do, and that's because the envelope needs to go this way. And that should fix that. And that's exactly what I was telling him. Like, let me put the envelope midway. Let me try that. Yeah, it takes a lot of work to figure out where you need to set this. So let me bring it down a little bit. Nope. So from there, I got to adjust this bass again. I got to bring this down. And you see it's not moving right here. If I were to go into here with Peak Controller, I could visually see where this is sitting. That's not happening with this envelope controller. I have to guess. That's still not it. That's still not it. Okay, so I guess I got to put the bass all the way down and the envelope all the way down to equal out to that. But if I were to try this again with this volume knob instead, so let's, for example, let me turn. Okay, I have those turned off. Actually, let me, no, that's not gonna work. Well, let me just show you what happens if I try to link it here instead. These settings won't match, obviously, but I'll show you the other issue with that. Link to controller, articulator 1, remove conflicts. So now it's not attached to that anymore. Now it's attached to this volume knob. Copy, paste. Again, you got to guess where this knob needs to be. Still too high. I'm using control and dragging the mouse to fine tune this knob. And again, you can't actually see the slider right here moving. So you got to play the track to get it to move. And it's really hard to play the track and move this at the same time because of the side chaining. So let me know what your tip is to avoid that, because that it makes it almost impossible to use this thing, to be quite honest. I'm sure as soon as you dial in your settings and you do get them perfectly, you could save that as a preset and then just load it in every time. I get that. That's probably your best bet. But now let's actually get these settings right to where this is ducking. So I'm going to turn this EQ back on. Right click, link to controller, articulator 1, accept. And let's see what it's doing again. Bring that all the way down. Okay. Now, in order to match the shape that I have here, what you got to do is bring all this up. Now, let me know if that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is how you get the shape. This is ducking and then bringing the volume back up. I didn't want all this other stuff afterwards. But let me know if that's what the issue is, and I have to keep the hold and the decay, the release, and all that out here, which doesn't make sense to me. But if that is what you have to do, let me know if that is what the issue is. But let's listen to this and try to get this ducking cleanly to where you hear the kick fully and then the bass comes back in immediately. I'm able to do it perfectly with Fruity Peak Controller, but I haven't been able to get it with Fruity Envelope Controller. And another thing that I was pointing out, another thing that I loved about the idea of using Fruity Envelope Controller, you have more fine tuning with your curve here. The way that it's set up right now, it's exactly the same type of fine tuning that you get here with the tension and the decay. This is your tension. And then your decay is just how fast you set this. But like I was saying, what I loved about this, you could do more than that in Fruity Envelope Controller. So if you wanted to, you can make weird shapes. So the volume would go like that, back up to the top. But what I'm realizing, that's not necessary. Not only is it not necessary, it actually makes the sound worse. So at the end of the day, you're still looking for this shape, which is automatic inside of Peak Controller from what I'm hearing. Let me just go ahead and play what this would sound like. And again, it looks like we got to adjust this all over again for whatever reason. Let me go ahead and delete that. Let me turn off Peak Controller so you don't think that that's doing anything. Okay, so let's take this, copy the value, paste it on the bass. See what happens there. Nope, let's move the bass around. Let's do the opposite with the envelope. Okay, I got that part figured out. Another option that you would have, just in case you think that I wasn't aware of this, you can invert the formula here. I typically don't, because if you do, then everything's backwards. It makes sense to turn the volume down to make it go down and go up to make it go up. But when you don't invert it with Fruity Envelope Controller, right now, yeah, I got to make the bass go all the way down and the envelope go all the way up. I guess if I really think about that, that does kind of make sense. But at the end of the day, it wasn't natural to me to think of it that way. But let's go ahead and dial in our sound to get a nice sounding sidechain. See, that's a little too much ducking. Let's tighten it up. Here is another thing that I pointed out to him. I can't adjust this and see the ducking going on at the same time, or hear it, because as soon as I move this folder or this envelope around, the sound gets ruined. You hear how it drops out completely when I move it? It's weird. Like, that doesn't happen with Peak Controller. See, I'm moving it around and it's having a hard time tracking what I'm doing, basically. That's really what it's coming down to. And that's why I'm thinking that the issue with Fruity Envelope Controller is the old issue that people used to have with Fruity Peak Controller. But I think what happened was Peak Controller ended up being a lot more popular to use. Simpler interface. Really just that, a simpler interface. And because more people were using Fruity Peak Controller, they got more complaints about it, and they finally fixed it to where basically it was giving timing issues, alignment issues. That doesn't exist anymore in Fruity Peak Controller as far as I've seen so far. But apparently that's still an issue with Fruity Envelope Controller. So whatever they did with Fruity Peak Controller to fix it, it appears they didn't do that with Fruity Envelope Controller. Just by, trying to get this to line up. It's really hard to dial this in. Okay, now here's, I think, the last and final, what's up, SLP? SLP says, I think the release should be faster. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at too. I feel like the bass isn't coming back in fast enough. You're exactly right. I'm hearing the same exact thing. And when you do make it fast, you get a lot of artifacts. And this is something that the guy that was telling me about this, he wasn't able to hear this, which is really unfortunate if he can't hear this because it's night and day difference. But the thing is, he was using Fruity Balance, so he wasn't using this EQ trick. This very well, I'm actually predicting that this is literally these artifacts that I'm hearing. This only happens when you're trying to do EQ ducking, dynamic EQ. So you're not going to get it with Fruity Balance. But the whole nature of an EQ, it's phase shifting. That's how it eliminates signals or makes signals louder. It eliminates frequencies by phase cancellation. So I think what we're hearing, because of the timing issues of Fruity Envelope Controller, we're getting these extra phasey, weird artifacts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and dial this in the way that I would want it. And unfortunately, we're going to hear those artifacts. And then I'm going to switch over to Peak Controller, and you'll hear that Peak Controller just beats it by a mile. I'm going to try and make it a little tighter. See how that sound dropped out? It's because it's not keeping track of what I'm doing here. Can't seem to really dial this in. I think that's the best that I'm going to get it. I'm going to make it a little tighter and see if that might do it. That's a little too tight. That's not even triggering the sidechain. There we go. Now it's triggering. Oh, I got another message. Hold on. Hey, me and my buddy want to try work on lyric buildup, and I'm still working on learning FL. How long have you used it? Sounds great. Anyways, do you think you can make a beat for us to train on? Oh, my dude, I give out free beats all the time, man. Go to rapontracks.com. You could download all of them for free. Or actually, I just switched that website over. Go to my the main YouTube page. Oh crap! There's a link down below. You're on Twitch right now. There's a link down below in my Twitch, and in there, click on my Rap on Tracks YouTube channel, and yeah, you could download all of those for free. They're tagged, of course, but yeah, practice on any of those. But yeah, kudos to you for trying to build up your lyric game, for sure. But okay, back to the envelope controller. Okay, so what I'm hearing is a weird clicking that happens at the very end, and maybe that's due to me not having this tail. So let me go ahead and lower this all the way down. Actually, I'm guessing that is what the problem is. If I could grab it. Yeah, maybe I gotta bring the volume back down as well. So it resets. No, no, nope, nope. That doesn't do it either. No, I was right the first time. This is what the envelope needs to look like. It needs to go down and then go back to full volume. Okay, so hopefully you could hear that clicking. You think he means a project beat? What do you mean by a project beat? I don't even know what that means, SLP. What's a project beat? Anyway, now we're gonna listen to what it sounds like with Peak Controller, and you're not gonna hear that weird click at the end. Night and day. You can't tell me you can't hear that. Clean, 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 clean. And then I'll switch it back to envelope controller. Yeah, there's like a whoosh, whoosh, whoosh that's going on. Oh, an FLP file? Yeah, I get what you're saying, Cypher. You said just to train on. Yeah, is there an issue with training on the beats that I've made? Let me know. And are you asking for an FLP file, or are you asking for just a beat? I think it's kind of weird to ask for a FLP that's going to help you train for free. FLPs are serious business. No, Cypher, I'm asking if, I mean, do you not want to download those beats? Is that what the issue is? Oh, by the way, next week, hopefully I'll have the chat, the global chat on the screen here so that you guys could see what everyone else is saying on all of the platforms. I finally figured out how to get Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube all on one chat, but I haven't been able to get it on the screen. But Restream.io, that's the website that I'm using to multi-stream. They're trying to help me out. So hopefully I'll have it all figured out by this weekend, and then you guys can see what everyone else is saying. Okay. What are you confused about, Cypher? Are you confused on how to get those beats, or? Yeah, I'm confused too, actually. So let me know what you meant by when you re-emphasize that it's just to train on. Because I totally get that you're just training. That's why I'm offering you those free beats. Yeah, exactly, SLP. I mean, when I give out FLP, which I do, I've given out FLPs before. Actually, one of my biggest downloads is a free FL Studio template. That's probably the best FLP in the world right now. That's for free. I know in the mix he did a FL Studio template as well. That one was pretty good. I think his might have one up me because he included effects and stuff. But my plan was to do another template when the next version of FL Studio comes out, and that will be completely loaded with effects and presets for you guys. You know, I was also thinking about oh, okay, Cypher. I totally get it. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's why I'm really looking forward to next week because you guys will be able to see, or I'm hoping you guys will be able to see what everyone else is saying, and then when I have a conversation with one person, it's not going to confuse, you know, who I'm responding to. But yeah, hey, do you have Cypher? Do you have any? Have you made any music yet? Is there anything that I can listen to? Because I mean, if I like what I hear already, then I'll just make you a beat for free from scratch if I know your style. But without knowing your style, I'm not gonna spend time making a beat. Not a free beat. But yeah, I am curious what you sound like. If you have something on SoundCloud or YouTube or wherever. Let's see. But yeah, back to what I was doing. This I pretty much already showed it. So this is with artifacts. And I'm almost guaranteeing it's the old issue that Peak Controller used to have because that artifact is literally going from my left ear to the middle and back to the left. So it's definitely like a timing, a phasing weird thing that's going on versus there's nothing. There's nothing. All I hear is literally my kick hitting hard and the bass in the background. So, my dude, if you are watching this from Europe the day after or whenever you get a chance to watch this, let me know down in the comments below what I might be doing wrong with Fruity Envelope Controller to, one, get this to copy and paste right, two, to get this to play while I adjust it correctly, and three, how to get rid of those artifacts. So those are three major issues to where I can't use this thing. Not for sidechaining anyway. Not for sidechain ducking and EQ. Yeah, if I go back to this, you'll notice that I'm able to adjust this and I still hear the kick and the bass clearly. I can hear exactly what's going on the whole entire time without anything dropping out. I gotta turn it on first. I was like, why isn't it changing? That's the wrong one. Here we go. There we go. Just a smooth transition. So that's something that you can't, or that I can't do in Envelope Controller. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you got that figured out, because I definitely do not. So I'm always looking to learn. Oh yeah, Cypher, you asked how long I've been using FL Studio. I've been using it ever since version 4. They're on version, technically they're on version 13 right now. They call it FL Studio 20, but it's version 13. So I've been using FL Studio longer than anyone else that I know on YouTube. Cypher says, I haven't released anything yet. Still working on learning FL. Me and my buddy badly want to start something we've tried for a little while. He's working on lyrics and stuff like that. I'm still learning how to put things together in FL. All right, man. William William on YouTube asks, "How long have I been doing music?" That's a good question. Longer than FL Studio. I started out on piano. Basically, it was my junior year, so that was, let's see, the year 2000. So almost 20 years, guys. Almost 20 years. So yeah, in the year 2000, I taught myself piano. And that was because I moved to Virginia from Illinois. And I already had like an interest in piano. Like my parents always had like a keyboard in the house. But when we moved to Virginia, we ended up with a Yamaha Clavinova. And you guys probably don't know what that is, but at the time, it was like state of the art. It was able to do MIDI, but it was literally like an electric grand piano. So it had like all kinds of synths, all kinds of stuff. But it was like it was worth more than some of the workstations today. Um, like if you were to buy the new Phantom, which I want so bad, I want that new Phantom so bad. Like I think you could get a Phantom for like 3,500, but the Yamaha Clavinova was, yeah, actually it was about the same price. It was right around 3,500. So we had this $3,500 electric grand piano that was sitting in the living room, and that's where I was sleeping because I mean the move was just so quick. We didn't even get a house that was big enough. We had a family of 6, so I didn't have a bedroom. I was sleeping in the living room, and in the living room it had that Yamaha Clavinova, and I would look at that all the time. No one ever played it. I'm like, that's just $3,500 sitting there for no reason. No one ever messes around with it. And after wrestling season, I didn't have anything else to do after school. Like, I didn't make a lot of friends. Like, I already planned on moving back to Illinois as soon as I graduated from high school. So I wasn't like really going out or anything like that. So I would come home after school, after wrestling season was over, and just look at that thing. And I was like, man, I'm just going to start playing it. And I would play that thing every day after school for like, I would take a break to eat dinner. But from the minute I got home from school, I would probably finish my homework, of course. And then I would hop on the piano and I would play that all the way until it was time to go to sleep. But I did that for a good 2 years, 3 years really, because even when I went to college, I went to the university had a music lab, and I would go in there and play their keyboards in there. They were just little Casios. So, do you think you could help us with FL Cipher asks? Yeah, let me know what you need help with specifically, especially right now if you have any questions. I don't know what you guys are working on specifically or where you guys are stuck. I also have a tutorial channel. That link is down below on Twitch. Click that. I personally think that I have the best tutorials on YouTube, bar none. But I don't have what I really need to do. I do plan on doing this. I need to do a full beginner's course that absolutely will be 100% free. But I do need to do like an hour-long beginner's course to get people started. Yeah, yeah, Cypher. Yeah, my links are kind of scuffed. Yeah, the those image qualities are probably horrible if that's what you're referring to. Yeah, I just started on Twitch last week, so I haven't updated any graphics or anything. As a matter of fact, I actually planned on not even using Twitch at all. I didn't even use it on the first day or two. I just streamed on Facebook and YouTube, so that's probably why I haven't really taken the time. I actually just added those links like days ago, so. Cypher says I can help you with Twitch if you help us with FL. Do you guys do graphics at all? Because that's really what I need. Because I'm not even necessarily trying to get big on Twitch or anything. I'm really using Twitch to because I'll never become what are those called? Affiliates or whatever. I'll never do oh, partner. Yeah, I'll never become a Twitch partner. You have ties with a graphic artist? Well, let me know. And in the meantime, and yes, if you can figure out a way to hook me up with some graphics, I mean, for example, those pictures down below, those are yeah, yeah, you're right, William. Never say never. The reason I say I'll never become a Twitch partner is because the rules. And the rules are if you stream on Twitch, you can't stream at the same time on YouTube, and you actually have to wait 24 hours to post that same stream on YouTube. So I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now if I were to become a Twitch partner. And not only YouTube, I wouldn't be able to stream on Facebook either. So I would eliminate all of my main audiences. All my views come from Facebook and YouTube right now. SLP says your tutorials are the best and most honest tutorials I've ever seen here in YouTube. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. That's literally the reason why I started making them, because I just saw a huge gap in the market in terms of the knowledge. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but pretty much like one of the biggest tutorial channels on YouTube, that's from a guy that was just sitting in his bedroom and had nothing to do, and he was like, hey, I have FL Studio, I can make videos about FL Studio. That's how that got started. So I feel like I've just been using FL Studio for so long, and not just how long I've been using it, but the reasons that I've been using it, how I've been using it, and I've just always looked for more knowledge, just like, Cypher is trying to do right now. Like, I mean, I learned it before YouTube even existed. So, hey, what's up? My name is Jerry. Good to have you in here. Yeah, when I started making music, YouTube didn't exist. So I had to learn things through the book. I actually read the manual. I think that's where that's one of the big difference makers between what I teach versus what everyone else teaches. I mean, if you guys didn't know, all throughout last year, I was a blog writer for flstudiomusic.com, and on there I was doing blogs for beginners, basically beginner tutorials. Do I ever plan on visiting SawCon? Is that like a synth convention? I'm not familiar with SawCon, William, but that sounds like it would be a synth convention, I'm guessing. SawCon, SignCon, SquareCon. Are we talking about synth waves? Yeah, I guess I should have labeled this a Q&A. I actually didn't even plan on making a beat today. What I planned on doing was, what I was doing earlier, I was doing some sound design. That's what you're seeing on my screen right here. But yeah, I've been making presets so that when I do make beats live again next week, I have a nice bank of go-to presets for me to use. Sets are just this exact plugin chain, and then in Patcher I have 3 different ways to listen to the preset. So here's the preset just raw. And then here's the preset going through Fruity Love Filter and RC20. Not much of a difference, but when I run it through my main chain here, which is what most of these presets are saved as, I have Fruity Flanger, and basically this is the stock, the default setting. And then Fruity Love Filter The default filter with the only changes that I made, I increased the cutoff, lowered the resonance, increased the band pass and the high pass, and that's it. That's all I changed on there. But that warms up the signal. And then in RC20, I'm using one of my presets, my InflightMuzik preset. I turned up the digital and turned down the wobble a little bit. But here's what this chain sounds like. Hey, William, what is SawCon? I'm still curious. You didn't answer. I hope you didn't leave. I think you're still with us. Um, yeah, let me pull up some of these presets that I made. In memory, you might recognize that preset name for any of you that have Omnisphere. And then, let's see. I have another one similar to that. Forget what I called it, though. Something memory. Oh, I think it's under bell. No? Yeah, just memories. My name's Jerry asks, how long have I been doing music? Almost 2 decades. But over that time, I never really got serious with it until I was in college, and I actually got some connections with Jive Records and Arista Records, Atlantic, a few other labels, but nothing ever came of that. And when I went through that, I kind of just was like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'll just, you know, do music as a hobby. So I went into the workforce and just worked and tried to pay off my debt. And that really wasn't working out. And I just slowly but surely realized that music was definitely the only way that I was really going to make a living. So I went back. I came back last year. So this past year, all I've been doing is just making tutorials and just building up my brand. So I'm trying to do it without the labels right now. I do have some connections with the labels again, but I'm kind of waiting that out and building up my my fan base online first. Yeah, William, you do play. You're good at that fiddle. I still don't get anything that you said, but it is what it is. Let's see here. But yeah, let's just go and make some more sounds. I wish I didn't switch that out because I was kind of going down this list right here in SynthMaster. Oh, by the way, I think SynthMaster is free right now, so you might want to check that out. And if it's not free, I think it's only like 20 bucks, but it's a pretty good rompler. It just plays presets, so it's not a real synth or anything like that. Oh, somewhere around here. I'll definitely save that. Can't even hear that. Sounds pretty dope. That one needs some work, but I'm gonna save that one too. What I want to say that is. Even though it's not an ARP, there's just so much delay on it. That would make a good ARP layer. I recommend that you guys do this as well. Just to make beats faster. Just have a day where all you do is just make presets. Oh yeah, I know SLP. I can tell a person's age pretty quick. And I mean, if he's not, that's really unfortunate, but hey, you live your life the way that you want to live it. And plus, I'm entertained by it anyway. What's your age? You're definitely not even 20. You're probably like half my age. But again, if you're older, then, I mean, okay. If that's what you want to say. Want to admit that you're an old guy that likes to talk about your balls. Do your thing, man. You do you, boo-boo. You do you. No, I don't think I need to. Don't think that I need to, William. Woo! Yeah, some of these presets. The one thing that that bothers me about SynthMaster, like even though it's not a full-fledged synth, it just goes crazy on CPU. You can go in here and change. Let's see here. You change the engine buffer, make that extra large. Change the quality to draft. That should make it work a little bit better. All right, Cypher. Yeah. Are you on Instagram or Twitter? Definitely DM me at InflightMuzik on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll talk there. And you guys got to get on social media somehow, some way. It's going to be kind of hard to talk to you through Twitch, but I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you can reach me back on here if you'd like. But if you're really trying to get your music out there, I mean, I would get on Instagram now. Yeah, that's my point, Cypher. I know I figured your Twitch isn't for your music. That's why you got to be on Twitter and Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud. I realize you're just now getting started, but I'm just saying, definitely hop on there so that you could start meeting more people and getting your music heard. All right, peace out, Cypher. I just got a message about someone using GarageBand. It's funny. GarageBand. Isn't GarageBand like free on Mac? Or is that just what's that program? Logic. I know Logic is free on MacBooks. I forget where GarageBand comes from. Anyone that's using GarageBand, like, I definitely recommend checking out Cakewalk. They have this free DAW, and it's a legit DAW because that's actually how I got started in music production on That was my first DAW. It was Cakewalk. And then I moved on to Sonar, and then I got a Phantom X, which is why I want the new Phantom so bad. And then with the Phantom, when I got the Phantom, I ended up using FL Studio again and started making beats in there with my Phantom. Yeah, SLP, I'm a PC guy too, so I'm not as familiar with like GarageBand or Logic or any of those. I'm pretty sure those are Mac products for sure. Anyway, let's get back to making some sounds. Did I already save that? Let me listen to what that sounds like without the effects. And with the chain. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I recommend you guys do this. Like, go into Patcher, make a dope effects chain, and then just run through your old plugins or your presets, and it's like using a new plugin all of a sudden. I made a comment earlier on my main channel about beat block. SLP, did you see that that post about beat block that I wrote? I actually wrote like half the post. It was like twice as long, but I was like, I don't want to bog you guys down with everything that I have to say. Dude, that one can work. I'm about to delete this. Cut this out. Is this in keys? Delete that. I had a folder called chords where it was basically a folder where I was saving presets where you play notes to make chords, but that's the same thing as keys. So I don't know why I made that folder separate. You haven't had the chance to? Yeah, basically I was telling people that beat block doesn't even really exist. Like it's a mindset. Like there's nothing physically stopping you from making a beat. It's literally you deciding not to move forward. I pretty much look at beat block as a fear of making a bad beat. And that's just something that people have to get over. Like you have to be willing to make 12 bad beats in a row. Or 20 or 30. Like it's okay to make bad beats. You only get better. Like you don't make a bad beat and then get worse at music production. Like making a bad beat still improves you as a producer. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what that post was about. It's like in between a pad and a pluck. We were on a really good streak where like every single thing I wanted, but now we're in a bad patch of presets, finally. SLP says, yeah, bro, you're right about that. Yeah, when it comes to beat block, like, I don't even understand, like there's so many options. Like, you don't have to make a beat if you don't feel like making a beat, but I don't recommend taking a break or not making music just because you feel like you have beat block. Like there's so much that you can do. You can make loops. You can make drums. You can make drum hits. You can make drum loops. You can remix one of your old beats. You could just mix a beat, get better at mixing. You could watch a tutorial and follow along with a tutorial. You could listen to music that you feel like making and then try and make that. Try to literally copy someone else's beat. And that's not going to block you for, like, as soon as you hear a sound, just literally make that melody. You can practice an instrument, play piano. There's so much that you can do that still involves making music. What I don't recommend is saying, oh, I have beat block, so I can't make a beat today. That's the only way that you don't get better. There are way too many options. You could make a beat around a loop. Yeah, there's just way too many options. Oh, crap. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Yeah, I guess I've been on here for an hour. Yeah, I should have labeled this Q&A instead of making beats, but I feel like it was pretty productive in terms of answering questions and going over that. SLP, I don't think you were here at the very beginning, but I went over the difference between... Oh, I think you were here. But the difference between using Fruity Peak controller and envelope controller. But yeah. Let me go ahead and switch out this plugin and let me load up Expand. And then I'm going to make save a few more presets, and then I'm probably going to head on out. SLP, do you have Expand? It's like a $15 plugin that I highly recommend. I recommend this even more than what's it called? Whatever I was just using, SynthMaster. Hardly. What I really like about this, it's really nostalgic to me because it reminds me a lot of Hypersonic 2, which is still to this day like one of my top 5 favorite plugins. But it's actually made by the same people. Ray Lee, yeah, that's literally exactly what I did as well. 2 years ago, Christmas, for $1. That's how I got Expand as well. Literally the same exact story. They did it twice. There was 2 times where you could have gotten Expand for $1. And then I remember it went up to $5, then $10, then $20, and now I think it's back down to 15. You know what's really funny about that? It wasn't just Expand that I picked up. I picked up, oh my gosh, Vacuum Pro for $1 as well. And when I was using Vacuum Pro, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a hidden gem. And I made an entire video about it. And literally the very next, I think it was like a week right after, they jacked up the price of Vacuum Pro. And I think even to this day, Vacuum Pro is still more expensive than Expand 2. If not, then I guess they're the same price. But it's that I found that really funny. I don't have like an affiliate link with Plugin Boutique, but I wish I did because I advertise their products all the time. Ray Lee, there was a crazy ozone sale where this was actually just last year. You might have been a part of that, but it might have been Black Friday actually, but they discounted Ozone, the full version of Ozone 8, 50% off. That was normal, but then what happened? They did an additional 60% off of the 50% off on accident on Plugin Boutique, and it crashed Isotope's website, but and Plugin Boutique, but they ended up losing so much money from that. From one mistake. But yeah, that went on for like 12 hours or something like that. I totally missed out. I ended up getting Ozone Elements for $1, maybe a month after that. So I was glad to get Ozone Elements, but it would have been nice to get Ozone 8 for like 25 bucks. Oh my gosh. You are so lucky because now you can get Ozone 9, get like that cross grade or upgrade for super cheap too. And you in particular, you'd be spending less than, even with the upgrade, you're still spending less because of what you started out with than what the plugin even is right now. That's so wild. Yeah, I wish I was in that boat. Because Ozone 9 is no joke. That thing is a beast. I definitely think that is, hands down, the best mastering plugin in the world right now. If you get Ozone 9, I don't think that you really have to worry about getting like Fab Filter or any waves or any of that. Not for mastering anyway. The only plugin that you bought that was really expensive was Serum. What genre do you make, Rayleigh? Yeah, Serum is an interesting plugin. You're still paying $9 a month for it? Yeah. What is it, like $9 a month for 20 months or something like that, I believe? Which I think is a good deal. The only reason that I just found this out recently, the only reason I'm not doing any of those rent to owns is because, correct me if I'm wrong, but do you access the plugin through Wi-Fi? Is that how that works? You do trap, melodic dubstep, and breakbeats? That's dope, man. I'd love to listen to your stuff. I'll play it live on air if that's something that you want me to do. You do a lot of hybrid, it's trash though? I mean, I'll still listen to it, give you some tips. Melodic dubstep is one of my favorite genres, so I wish that I was really good at future bass. That's my favorite genre to mess around with. But yeah, I'm more of a hip hop, trap, R&B, pop guy. And I feel like it gets harder in that order. All right, Rayleigh, we got a link here. Let's do a quick listen. What DAW do you use? SLP says the first plugin he ever bought was Sample Tank. Yeah, definitely hybrid for sure. What are you using for the strings? You use FL Studio? That's cool. Yeah, I like the composition. Are you using MIDI loops or samples or anything, or are you composing everything? Because I like the composition. Those are some really wide snares, but that's very common in EDM. Expand, yeah. Expand. Hell yeah, bro. Yeah. People shouldn't sleep on expand. Especially if you just add a little reverb to it, like a convolution reverb. FL Studio has Fruity Convolver for that, so. Yeah, that's dope, Ray Lee. I like that you compose everything yourself. People are always asking, how do you get better at making beats? I mean, you gotta actually make beats. You know? Like, dragging in a loop and a drum loop, you're not really gonna get better at making a beat. You'll get better at making drums, you might get better at mixing, but you won't literally get better at making melodies or composition or anything like that. So I always find that's a weird question when they're like, how do you get better? Well, you gotta actually make beats. Yeah, same here, Rayleigh. I totally get that. Yeah, I don't. Well, I take that back. I just made a drum pack, but typically I'm sampling from other people's free packs or stock FL Studio packs. I have bought packs in the past. I bought. I'm sure you guys know who Mai is. Hopefully, you guys know who Mai is, or it's not a big deal. But he has quite a following on YouTube, but I bought like his third drum kit. It was pretty good, so I definitely didn't have any regrets on that. But yeah, effects and sweeps and impacts, yeah, all those, I use samples for that. Yeah, you've been trying to focus on composition. Yeah, you're doing good so far. How long ago did you start? Ooh. Yeah, maybe really my only critique are just maybe better drum samples. But yeah, I like the composition. The mix isn't bad. Mix is good enough. Um but yeah, how long have you been making music for? Yeah, SLP, the first plugin that you bought was Sample Tank. Yeah, how do you like Sample Tank? I remember back in the day, I was messing around with Sample Tank, and I told myself, man, I probably won't ever buy this plugin because like it took up a lot of hard drive space, and the samples in it, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of how everything just sounded really thin to me in Sample Tank, but I remember Sonic Synth was pretty good. Um, or Sonic Synth 2. And then Ray Lee says he started in 2013, but you think you still suck? Let's see, how many years is that? Yeah. I mean, it all just depends on, like, the amount of years doesn't matter. Like, the only thing that matters is how much time did you and effort did you actually put into it during that time, you know? What was I saying about Sample Tank? Oh yeah, like out of IK Multimedia's stuff, I know they have some good effects like that. Or no, yeah, T-Rex is owned by IK, right? I think T-Rex owns IK, but they have their soft clipper. It's really popular, especially in trap music. And then Philharmonic 2. So many people sleep on Philharmonic 1 and 2. I think if you get Philharmonic 2, you get Philharmonic 1. I might be lying. Not sure. But yeah, like comparing Philharmonic to Contact or Omnisphere or anything that uses samples, Philharmonic hands down. Like I haven't heard anything better. Yeah, see what I mean, Rayleigh? You didn't even start focusing on music until last December. started doing 6-hour sessions. Yeah, yeah. It sounds like you're really into it, because that's pretty much how I got started. Like when I started making music, I went in. I went in, went in, went in. I'm gonna play something else that you got here. I wasn't sure if you were gonna go minor or major, and you ended up going major. But it sounded like you were gonna go minor for this track. But yeah, it's major. Is the piano from Expand? Nexus. Good old Nexus. I mean, Nexus is pretty good for trance. It almost sounds like your kick is on the right side of my headphones, but I'm not sure if that's me or if that's the case. Like I can hear it in both headphones, but it seems like it's leaning towards the right. I might be crazy though. You want to be able to do all genres? When you say all genres, are you meaning electronic genres, or? Because even just doing all electronic genres, there's like so many genres that, I mean, that would be kind of hard. I mean, you could do all genres, but it'd be hard to be good at all genres. Yeah, it's 1% stereo. Yeah, I thought that's what I heard. Yeah, I typically keep my kicks in mono, but in EDM and dance music, there's definitely a such thing as a wide kick, for sure. What I recommend for EDM artists that are trying to make a wide kick or a wide bass or a wide anything, still have, you know, like your main mono signal, and then anything that you do spread, just try to even out that spread on the left and right. Like if you're adding like an extra percussive element onto your kick, which is pretty common, just make sure that that is equally balanced on the left and right. You listen to a lot of Dead Mouse? Like how he does that? Yeah. Yeah, Dead Mouse is one of the GOATs, for sure. Definitely one of the GOATs. I hate that I'm ignoring my Instagram right now because I'm getting crazy comments right now. Oh well. Yeah, I just found out that it might be better for me to post on Instagram in the morning versus I've been posting late at night, but like my last post got like 100 views or something like that, which is super, super rare. Like usually it's somewhere between 400 and 2,000. Like 400 is usually, you know, a bad bad posts. So getting like 100 is like, what the happened? Another thing that I started doing was posting on IGTV, and I think that might be an issue too. Like, I don't think people like seeing IGTV posts on Instagram. But still testing it out, see what people are thinking. Let's see. Let's get back to, what time is it? Been on for an hour and a half. I'll stay on for another half hour if you guys want me to. And go through some more sounds. Switch over to softly. SLP says, I have the kick. Oh, you hear the kick more on the right too. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Ray Lee, SLP on YouTube, he's saying that he likes the sound selection and the idea of that trance beat. And me as well. Ray Lee says my template looks amazing. It's free if you want to download it. You just got to go to my YouTube page. The link is down below, and then just search my YouTube page for free FL Studio template. Or if you just scroll down, you'll see it. You won't have the skin though. This skin, I just downloaded this from Google a few nights ago. But if you want to search for it, it's the Midnight skin. And this is for FL 20.5. So the template that I made, as long as you have FL Studio 20.1, it will work. It'll work on 20.1 and anything after that. Let's switch over to bells. I don't have enough bells right now. Bells and mallets. What I'm really trying to do, the whole point of me doing this right now, not just to make beats faster, but I'm trying to compete with Omnisphere. So I'm trying to get like the Omnisphere vibes. See, like that right there, that's going to be a good layer. I'm going to link this over to here and just listen to what it sounds like without my effects. Sounds good without the effects too. Just needs a little EQing. Actually, yeah, I like that. Rayleigh's like, oh, I didn't even follow yet. Oh, you're good. As long as you follow at some point. No, I'm kidding. Do what you want. I'm really only here on Twitch to kind of advertise my YouTube channel because I don't plan on making a going partner or becoming an affiliate on Twitch because of the restrictions. What am I doing? Yeah, save. Bells. Whoo, what? Hell yeah. I'm gonna be using that next week for sure. You guys are probably looking at these preset names like, what are you naming these things? But you gotta name things the way that your brain works, the way that you'll remember. And sometimes it's not logical from the outside looking in. But for me, it makes perfect sense. Let me go to more of these ethnic sounds. Because that gives a lot of that's one of the other things that I feel like Omnisphere is known for. Not just like the soundscapes and stuff, but like the odd instruments, the odd sounds too. That's cool. Not as good as the last one. That's dope. That's dope. I don't want to say that. That's more like a flute. I don't have a flute category. Do I need to make one? Flute. Yeah, I gotta switch that up. Go into guitars. Lil Bapton, how do you get the skin? I got it off of Google like a few nights ago. It's called the Midnight Skin for FL Studio 20.5. Yeah, if you type that in, it wasn't like the first link that popped up, so I had to kind of do some searching, but it exists somewhere. But yeah, it's the Midnight Skin FL Studio 20.5 version. But yeah, it's the first skin that I ever downloaded. First skin I've ever used. It's funny because FL Studio is already so dark, but yeah, no problem. Lil Bapton, good to have you in here. Follow me if you'd like. Making beats every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and beat reviews, critiques, beat battles. At the beginning of this live, I just went over what the beat battles will entail and how that will be set up. Dope. I appreciate you, Lil Bapton. Yeah, for some reason, like, hopefully, but I get this figured out by next week, but I'll have the chat available for you guys to see. Oh, you're watching me on YouTube. Okay, cool. And then you just came over here on Twitch. That's dope. Thanks, Ray Lee. I appreciate you subbing on YouTube. That's actually what I was just saying. Yeah, hopefully next week you guys will be able to see the chat from both YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And then also, hopefully I'll have my alerts set up so that you can hear and see my people following and subbing. And then it'll be a lot easier for me to thank you guys whenever you guys do that. Because as of right now, I'm totally in the dark. So it's not until I end my live session and look at my analytics to see what's going on. Oh, yeah. Okay. Lil Bapton. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah. Lil Bapton says that he saw me talking to Ray Lee and didn't see them typing and thought something was wrong. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's the exact thing that I'm trying to avoid. And earlier, there was someone in the chat on Twitch that I was talking to, and I was talking to SLP on YouTube at the same time, and he totally got confused. And I got confused too. So I'm trying to avoid all that nonsense. That's not bad. We need to edit that a little bit. So much technical stuff to when it comes to streaming. Yeah, for sure. That's what Ray Lee just said. Lil Bapton says, yeah, man, love the tutorials on YouTube. A few others I've come across really going in depth. Yeah, I plan on actually making a YouTube video based on just me going over or me sharing who I think are the best YouTubers doing music production. I feel like that'll help the community as well. Because there's so much crap out there. Like, you really got to cipher through people that are just doing this just to do it versus people that actually do this for a living, you know? But it is what it is. Oh, I didn't even save that. Let me do that over again. I remember what I did. That on. That up. Turn that up. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's save that as more Plux than anything. I probably have a little bit of a delay, but I'm assuming the Lil Bapton's laughing at me skipping that preset on accident. Ray Lee says, I love Expand. The sounds are so realistic and the price is so amazing. Exactly. Exactly. And for that reason, for almost a year, I was telling people, like, this is probably the most underrated synth. Yeah, and then when it comes to, like, what's really popular right now is analog. So let me just drag in Vacuum Pro. It's made by the same company, and it's pretty much around the same price. But what I really love about this, let me go ahead and mute, expand, and then I'll link Vacuum Pro over to my effects chain and turn that off. I don't know about you guys, but I actually love looking at Patcher when it gets crazy like this. And that's definitely not even the craziest. I'll show you guys something real crazy here in a second after I show you this. Rayleigh says, oh, Lil Bapton, you're saying you're agreeing with the crap on YouTube. Yeah, man. Yeah. Like, believe it or not, I actually consider myself lucky that when I started music production, YouTube didn't even exist. I definitely consider myself lucky because honestly, like, it slows some people down. For sure. For sure it slows people down. Like, there's just too much crap out there to cipher through. And then when you find something that you think is good, half the time they're giving you the wrong information. They're showing you what you shouldn't be doing, which is, it blows my mind. But anyway, Vacuum Pro. Rayleigh says, I have Analog too. Are you talking about Analog Lab or are you talking about Vacuum Pro? Analog Lab that's slept on right now too. I see Cash Money AP using it. Actually, he doesn't use Analog Lab. He uses he does use Arturia products though, like ARP. What is it, like ARP 3000, ARP 9000 or something? I forget what that synth is called. It's a real life synth, but they have it in VST form. Yeah, Lil Bapton, that is exactly what happens. You get caught in a loop watching YouTube video after YouTube video. Lil Bapton says it's insane how powerful FL Studio is and has been, but nobody even realized it. You know what's funny? So last night I was on Twitter around like 1 o'clock in the morning, and Nick Mira says, "This is why I use FL." He says, "This is why I use FL Studio 20." And from right there, before I even, looked at the tweet, it was like a 6-second video clip. before I even looked at it, I was like, oh my God, people are going to go nuts now because most of internet money was on FL Studio 11. You know, KBZ, he's on FL Studio 11. And like every time I'm in the chat, like, and you guys would be working a lot faster, a lot more efficient, doing the same stuff that you're doing now in FL Studio 20. It's literally the same. It's literally the same program, but with upgrades. Like the reason people didn't switch over to 12 and 20, it's because of FL Studio 12, and I totally get that. Like FL Studio 12 was literally a downgrade from FL Studio 11, and then when 20 came out, people were just like, "Nah, I'm gonna stick with 11." So that's how that whole thing ended up happening. But yeah, for a good solid year, I've been trying to tell people, no, like they finally upgraded FL Studio 11. Like this is what FL Studio 12 should have been for sure. I actually have a tutorial coming out, or not a tutorial coming out, but a video coming out in probably a month or so. 21 things that I want in FL Studio 21. I'm probably gonna have a little Q&A or a session where I get comments from you guys to see what things that you guys want too. Because I know ImageLine does watch my videos, so they'll listen. They've actually listened to a couple things that I've asked for. Blood Overdrive was a 32-bit plugin for forever, and they upgraded all their plugins, and then I was messing around in FL, loaded up Fruity Blood Overdrive, and I realized that it loaded up as a bridge. And I was like, what? Like, what happened to my 64-bit Blood Overdrive? So I asked them about it, and they're like, oh, it's never been 64-bit. I was like, well, I hate using bridge plugins. If you guys can make a 64-bit Blood Overdrive, that would be awesome. And that was like months right before. Well, not months. It was almost a year. Yeah, it was almost a year before they finally did it, but they did it. Yeah, you saw them post on one of my videos not too long ago. Yeah, yeah, I've gotten a little bit of love from them for sure. Every once in a while, they'll share something that I've done. Not just on here, but on Twitter as well, on IG. I wish they would do it more often, but it is what it is. You started on Fruity Loop 7. Lil Bapton says he started on Fruity Loop 7, and I get why people wouldn't switch, but 20 was great. Yeah, 12 should have had most of these features. Yeah, exactly, man. Like the main features that I missed from 11 going to 12 was the looping within the channel rack. And as you can see, not only did they bring the looping back, but it's even better than ever. It's more powerful. So the difference between looping in 20 versus FL Studio 11, like if you're into making like exotic beats, like tribal music or just more foreign types of rhythmic patterns, you can go in here and make polyrhythms. That was literally impossible in FL Studio 11 and well, all the FL Studios. So now you can have multiple rhythms depending on how you set these. You could set this to step, beat, bar, whatever. So it's just a much more powerful system. The other thing that I was missing was if you go into the sampler and go into pre-computed effects. This is one of my bigger videos on my YouTube channel. I would say it's probably my biggest video when it comes to I have a playlist on 808 tutorials. I think this is like the #1 video on there. But just taking the pre-computed effects and shaping your kicks and your 808s, like that was what made FL Studio so easy to use, because you can immediately make any drum sound powerful. And what's that Carnage quote? Very, very much stronger. What's that? Does anyone know the Carnage quote? very, very stronger. Oh my god. Like to this day, I still die laughing watching that. I'll pull it up like every 7 or 8 months just to get a good laugh. But you know who defended him, which really surprised me, but it made sense. Seamless, or at the time I think he was called Seamlesser or Seamless R, but he just goes by Seamless now. But he was like, I don't get why you guys are making fun of this guy because everyone has their own way of doing something. If that's how he gets a good sound, then that's how he gets a good sound. I was like, fair enough, man. Fair enough. It was just funny seeing, because it was like the early stages of, those Razer commercials. And, you know, I'm sure Razer thought that they were getting someone that actually knew what they were talking about. And not to say that Carnage didn't know what he was talking about. It was just the way that he was talking about it. But anyway, yeah, these pre-computed effects, like, you could clip, boost, square off your kick signal, and it becomes very stronger. And EQs can make it darker, brighter, cutoff filter, resonance. Like, there's just so much in here. And then these reverbs, people don't mess around with these reverbs, but I mean, they work pretty well on percussive elements like hi-hats, snares, literal percussion like hand drums and stuff. Let me see if I could show you an example real quick. That hi-hat's really bright, so let me darken that a little bit. Add some reverb. And it has 2 reverb algorithms too. But yeah, just instantly widens it. And then from there, I would go into, I know it sounds like crap right now, but that's because of the tail. So go in here, change the out knob. Not the greatest example, but yeah, I'm sure you could imagine that being on some hand drums, just other percussive elements that aren't as tingy, less metallic than this, like wood blocks. Those sound really good with that effect. But yeah, I really missed these pre-computed effects when FL12 came out because it made FL Studio not fun anymore, because at that point you really had to have the best drum packs to make a good beat. Otherwise, you're just screwed. Because it was really hard to make a good drum at that time. I feel like I missed a comment here. Oh, I missed a few comments here. Let's see. Lil Bapton said, my favorite thing by far was the audio upgrades. Yeah, didn't the it's funny because FL Studio started out as a MIDI, pretty much a MIDI DAW, a DAW that was just made for MIDI. And then when they finally did audio, I think that was like FL6, it might have been FL7, where you could finally record vocals. Like, the first version of FL I was on was FL4, and you definitely could not record vocals in there. But yeah, the long and strange history of FL Studio. I've talked about this. I've told this story once before, last week on a vlog, but on one of these lives. But FL Studio, they actually started out as the guy that made it. He made it because he wanted an easier way to make music for porn. And what's even funnier, when FL Studio was released to the public, it came I think inside, I think the brand was Twix, or not Twix, Trix, but it came inside of Twix cereal boxes as, you know, one of those gifts at the bottom of the box that you get as a kid. But that was the start of FL Studio. Back in the day, it was known as Fruity Loops. Fruity Loopy. Exactly, Lil Bapton. That's why some of the samples are a little questionable, a little suspect. Man. You know, I have another tutorial that, or not a tutorial, but just a video. Like, I'm trying to come up with viral videos. So, like, I actually have a list of like 30 different videos that I think could go viral. And when I say viral, I don't mean like a million views. I just mean viral in terms of, in comparison to my channel. I think the most views I have on any one video is like 20,000. So I know people in the community that have, you know, almost a million views or whatever on their videos. So trying to get up there. And I think the easiest way is to make more compelling videos for sure. But one of them being, I want to make a beat using just the FL Studio packs folder, which I have set. You know what? That's so weird because I thought I had it sitting right here. Oh, you know what? It's. I could have sworn I had it right here, which means I got to add it back in. But I can access it right here if I want to. Just go here, go to packs. But I mean, honestly, I think people kind of sleep on these packs because there's some good stuff in here for sure. Like in terms of pianos, strings, with the drums. If you go to mode audio, like some of these drums are pretty good. God, like what are you thinking with this? Who's using that? Like what genre is this? Someone tell me what genre that is. You know what they are useful for though? Layering. Like I would take the low end of this and just cut the crap out of it and then layer that on a hard kick just to give the kick some weight. Lil Bapton said the video where you showed how to play in the key of any sample should have been viral, literal gem. Yeah, a lot of my early videos are like, when I first started, I was like, yeah, these videos are going to be so crazy, but I probably shouldn't make them right off the bat because I knew I was a new YouTuber. I think that was literally the third video or fourth video that I made. I think it was literally like week 2 that I was doing YouTube when I made that video. And I'm just like, yeah, no one's going to see this. And I mean, you could look at my analytics and like the view count is like hardly anything. And then all of a sudden it spikes up like crazy by the time I made my dark trap melodies video or dark trap chords video. One of those. Lil Bapton said, yeah, I came across it on YouTube or on Reddit and subbed after one of the first videos. Yeah, speaking of Reddit, Reddit is actually how my YouTube blew up the first time. It's blown up a few times, but the first time that I got like crazy views, crazy subs was because of Reddit. I got a message on Instagram from one of my followers on there, and they're like, hey man, you're like #1 on Reddit right now in the hot category on FL Studio and trap production. So on a couple Reddits, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense because right before I went to bed the night before, I saw a huge spike in numbers, and I was like, what is going on? Like, why? Like, was it the thumbnail? Was it like, I couldn't tell what was going on. And then when I read that message and then checked out Reddit, I was like, I guess I need to join Reddit. So I joined Reddit that day, and Well, I think I was already a member of Reddit, but I never made a Reddit post. So I started using Reddit right after that. But yeah, that happened a couple times where someone just randomly posted one of my tutorials on Reddit and my channel would blow up. Lil Bapton says, I'm not really into the trap stuff, but the technical stuff is nice. Yeah, I try to balance it out for sure. Was it the thumb? Lil Bapton was like, was it the thumbnail? Yeah, Reddit is straight, is all right, but useful sometimes. Yeah, I agree. It's all right. Useful sometimes. Not useful every time, that's for sure. And it's funny being on pretty much every social media platform because, like, you could take the same person, you can meet the same person on each platform, and the way that they behave on the platform's different. Like, I try not to be different on each platform, but I mean, I'm forced to be because I know how people react on each platform. So I have to word things differently. I have to change the length of certain videos if depending on the platform. There's just all kinds of things that you got to do differently depending on the audience. It's so weird. But anyway. Yeah, for sure, Lil Bapton. Different crowd, different place. If it's a different place, you're going to get a different crowd, right? I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, let's go into this, the Meet Vacuum Pro presets. Oh, what? Oh, I'm still on the hi-hat. This is one of the 21 things that I wish FL Studio will do in FL Studio 21 or whatever the heck they want to call it. When I select, when I'm clicking on a window of a plugin, I should be on that plugin. It should automatically select this plugin. I shouldn't have to move this window and then scroll up or scroll wherever I need to go and click there just to activate this plugin. That's a hassle. Like if I load up a plugin and I'm in that window, I want to be able to use it right away. Lil Bapton says, some projects I have majority of the sounds and effects running through Patcher and only master in the mixer just to try new workflows. Yeah, that's a huge advantage of Patcher for sure. Yeah, Lil Bapton agrees. This is very annoying that it doesn't select right away. Let me get rid of this hi-hat. You know, Vacuum Pro's like already so analog, it actually sounds kind of bad when you run it through other plugins to make it more analog. So let me turn that off and just have it run direct. Woo. Lil Bapton says, yeah, I was just thinking that last night, switching between Citrus, trying to break down sounds and having to switch like that is a hassle. Yeah, it's the biggest complaint from anyone trying FL Studio going from a traditional DAW, because that is not an issue in any DAW as far as I've tested out. If you click on it, that's what's selected in every DAW except FL Studio. One of the other things that I want to be able to dock these windows. Like, you know, it's funny because people clown on Ableton, not for, you know, the effects. Everyone pretty much agrees that hands down they have the best stock effects. Not for the instruments. They don't necessarily have the best instruments, that's for sure. But what plugin or what DAW does? No DAW has great stock instruments. But when it comes to the layout, it seems like that's what people clown Ableton on. And I kid you not, Ableton, hands down, has the best layout. Like, I get that you don't like the colors or whatever, but that's because people don't realize that you can edit. It's the most editable skin as well. It's just that people tend to use the default skin when they're doing their tutorials, so people will clown on that, saying, "Oh, it's too ugly. I can't deal with that." But I mean, you can make it look like FL Studio in terms of the colors, the darkness. For a while, I had Ableton Light, and I just love the layout of it because you have all of your everything is accessible at the bottom of the screen, and everything's docked, and you could pretty much just work easily on one screen. And I know they have like the option between vertical workflow and horizontal workflow, but I think you hit tab and you could switch in between. So really it's just two screens that you have to deal with. Lil Bapton says, or clicking the MIDI clip in the playlist that it's not the instrument you selected to. Yeah, I can't remember. I think if I double click here, it takes me into the piano roll. I think there's a new feature in FL Studio where like you could change this to an instrument track, but that's not useful for my personal workflow. But I think if you do that, you could double click here and it'll bring up that instrument. But yeah, that's not how I like to work. I like to work with the patterns versus here. But the reason they did that was to present a more traditional horizontal workflow where you could just work inside of here. But I like having access to the different features inside of the channel. Let's see, what else did you just say? Lil Bapton says, Ableton is fucking beautiful to me, to be honest. It's so intuitive and smooth. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. But FL is home. Yeah, the only reason that I would switch to Ableton, which I won't ever switch to Ableton, but I will eventually get Ableton, the full version. And that's because I plan on playing live. And I'm not going to be using FL Studio's performance mode to do that. I'll be using Ableton for sure. And that was another thing, one of the 21 things that I want in FL Studio 21. Like, the name of the program was originally Fruity Loops, but they don't have a looper. So unless they get a looper that's at least as good as Ableton's or better, I'll never be performing live inside of FL Studio. I want to be able to play something, have that automatically loop at any length that I want it to, switch my instrument, record, have that play, switch my instrument, record, have that play, and have them perfectly loop within performance mode. But you can't do that in performance mode as far as I know. Let's see, what else did you just say? All the effects at the bottom, yes sir. That's how I have FL set up now. Ray Lee is back, welcome back. Kind of doing things and watching, that's cool. Do your thing, man. Lil Bapton, it does, but it still plays whatever is selected in the channel rack at the time. Oh, okay. Ray Lee, Disableton. All your friends use Ableton, and you guys collab with stems. That's cool. Lil Bapton says, yeah, and no support really for good live instruments and whatnot. Yeah, there's a few issues with performing live with FL Studio, for sure. But yeah. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys. So you guys probably, maybe you don't. I said this last time. I was like, you guys probably know who Sicky Beats is, but no one knew who he was last time. So maybe you guys don't. But he's another YouTuber that does FL Studio tutorials, and he hooked me up with a plugin that I'm going to review next week called Energizer. which is, I have to load it as an effect, but go to plugins, Patcher. So it's a FL Studio effect. He made it inside of Patcher, so you can only use this in FL Studio, but it's pretty cool. Let's use it with a plugin. Let's use it with Expand, because I think it's going to be too much for Vacuum because it's already so analog. But this plugin kind of thickens everything up. Go to Presets, Energizer. Maki Larry says, I have good question, been looking for answer for 2 months. The song Meek Mill called Right Now, it has a LFO effect in it. Please help. How do they do that, please? Let me... Meek Mill Right Now. I'll take a listen to that here in a second, and then I'll tell you exactly how they did that, because that sounds like something that's really easy to do. But yeah, let's just take a listen to Energizer. I'm going to turn off Vacuum Pro. Whew. CPU's kind of running haggard. Let me smart disable, see if that helps. And then I'm going to change my project settings. 24. That's... So the starve knob is supposed to be a high pass before it hits Energizer, and then tight is a high pass after it, and then dark is a low pass at the end. And then this in knob is just driving the signal into this fat knob, and then I'm just lowering the volume of the out knob so that we can, just for gain staging, so we can compare the sound to the original level. Really doesn't sound like it's doing too much right there. Let me play this direct. Oh, I think I already have it going direct. Yeah. And then turn that off and compare them. Yeah, it is thinner when it's not going through the effect. Yeah, it's thicker, a little warmer. But yeah, here's what's going on in the background. It's pretty wild. You go to the map. So yeah, he put in some work. But he sells it for like $10 if it's something that you guys are interested in. But yeah, I have a tutorial coming out on that. I wanted to drop it on a Sunday, but I might drop it like in the middle of the week, like on a Tuesday or Thursday or something. But yeah, let me take a listen to Moki Larry's request. And obviously, I'm not going to do that on the stream. I'm going to listen on my phone. And I'll tell you, I'll give you the sauce. Let you know what they're doing. And then after that, I'm going to head on out because it's been 2 hours. Let's see. Let me go ahead and play a beat while I'm searching for this. Snippets. I'll play something from my 30-day beat challenge. Oh, Moki, I just saw your question about loading Patcher and then loading your VST. No, the opposite. It's more CPU. Yeah, it's actually more CPU. Meek Mill Right Now is the name of the song. Alright, I'm about to take a listen to this. Do you know what part of the song it comes in at? Meek Mill Right Now featuring French Montana, Mace, and Corey Guns. Oh, it's 6 years old. That's why. That's why those names are in there. Oh, I already know. Yeah, Fruity Love Filter, man. That's just Fruity Love Filter. I'll show you how to do that. Just give me 1 second. Damn. Yeah, that I was in love with that effect back in the day when I first started paying attention to the top charts on Airbit. Moki Larry says, more CPU. I need to fix my Mac because it keeps overloading. All right, let me show you the effect here. Let me switch this over to a pad. Actually, let me just load up one of my pads. Okay, so I'll just do this in Patcher, but you can load it on any of your insert effects too. Just go into Patcher. Oh, I didn't even finish what I was saying. Yeah, there was a duo, a producer duo called Beats Craze. They're actually in the what's that competition that they have up in Toronto? Or not Toronto, but in Canada, Battle of the Beatmakers. Yeah, they're in there like the season after Wonder Girl won. It might have been the season after that, but they pretty much got eliminated right from the get-go, but that's so unfortunate because they're really talented. Moki Larry says, I bought LFO Tool, wasted my money. LFO Tool is dope. I like the filters in LFO Tool, but yeah, when you compare it to Fruity Love Filter, it has, each one has its good, it's good and it's bad. But yeah, load up Fruity Love Filter. I already have one sitting here. Just so that you know, I use Fruity Love Filter on pretty much every sound when it comes to instruments because I like the filters. That's like one of the main things that you need when it comes to producing because the filters are pretty much what gives you your vibe. A lot of people don't talk about that, but if you find a good filter, that's what, use it. But yeah, go into presets, go into sequence, or let's see, go into filter and simple triangle high pass LFO. and you're done. Let's speed it up. Let's see. Forget how to speed it up. Oh, is this it? Okay, go into the cutoff and then select LFO, and then you could increase the speed here. And if you click this button right here, it'll sync it to whatever tempo you're using. Let's be more realistic here. Let me bring that back down. And then just mess with the speed. Yeah, exactly, Maki. Just tweak to your liking. It all just depends on, you know, what you're doing. But that is the easiest way to do it. There are other ways. Let me see if I could show you one real quick. Let's turn this LFO off. And then I'm going to load up Fruity Peak Controller. You could load that up anywhere, really, on any track. I'm going to load it up here. Fruity Peak Controller. And you might even prefer this, actually. Fruity Peak Controller. Oh yeah, Maki, it's definitely the melody that they played and the effect together, exactly. Yeah. That's why mine sounds so different, you know? The sound, and I don't have chords playing. I actually have a melody playing instead of chords. They're playing chords, so having it full on, you're going to hear a lot more of the effect, for sure. So keep that in mind. Let me go ahead and let you listen to what it would sound like with full chords. I'm going to turn this back on, hit play. So yeah, that's really what you're looking for. Yeah, just mess around with it until you get a good vibe. And then if you wanted to, if you load up Fruity Peak Controller, there's an LFO in here too. And then if you have any type of filter, and there's a filter in here too. So if I want to use this cutoff filter and turn off the LFO in here, just to give you an example. Oh crap, you can't do that. That's funny. I didn't realize that. You can't do that in here. Unless if I load it as an effect here. I'll show you how to do it with parametric EQ. But I just want to see something for myself real quick. Okay, so if you load this as an insert effect, you'll be able to do this. So right click here, link to controller, select internal controller, and then peak control LFO. Not that one, this one. Hit accept. And you'll be able to use this LFO to control the cutoff filter here. Let me switch this back to high pass. Actually, let me just switch over to that filter and turn off the LFO. And then we're going to use the LFO in here. Yeah, no problem, Moxie. Yeah, you could do this with Fruity Balance. You could do this. Yeah, you could do this with a lot of things for sure. Yeah, Fruity Balance would work really well. I think in that beat specifically, they are using a cutoff filter from a filter, from an EQ or a filter. But if you use Fruity Balance, it'll work really well too. Just volume ducking the LFO. Yeah, it wasn't as smooth as Fruity Love filter, I agree. And then if you wanted to do that with parametric EQ, you would take one of these, right click here, link to controller, LFO, accept. See, it's doing it there now. And then you could just, adjust your settings to your liking. That might be your favorite. Yeah, the important thing is that now you have the concept, so you could do all kinds of stuff in terms of, using Fruity Love filter and doing your thing. Yeah, anytime, man. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. And I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So right around 5 o'clock, like 5 to 7, 5 to 8 or so, depending on the day. So I will see you in the next one. Peace out.